to this season. There have been some early season surprises, including the driver of the NAPA Auto Parts Toyota, Martin Truex Jr. Now, so far, Martin Truex Jr. is off to a good start. Although he finished 19th at Daytona, he did lead and was able to avoid what could have been a major disaster by taking a shortcut down pit road. At Phoenix, he had a relatively uneventful race, with the exception of a pit road issue that his team believes cost him a top 10 finish. He wound up 14th. But at Las Vegas, Truex seemed to get a little help from Lady Luck, landing himself a 6th place finish. That result alone bumped him up 9 spots to 7th in the point standings. Now, Truex Jr. had a good car Sunday, but not one that was quite good enough to win. Truex won back-to-back nationwide titles in 2004 and 2005. He won a Cup race in 2007 and made the chase that year. But the last 3 years have been sort of disappointing. Last was his first with Michael Waltrip Racing, and Danielle Trotta has more on a driver and a team trying to become one of the sport's elite.
I know a goal for your team this year, get into the chase. You got to get a driver in. You haven't done it. And I heard you had a team summit in the offseason to address some of those issues.
The summit was all about just knowing what the goals are, setting the goals, and making sure that everybody had the tools they needed to go accomplish the goals with, and then knowing that your fellow teammate is standing there beside you expecting the same things from you. We knew we had the right players together, and so we're like, okay, y'all, come on, let's do it. And we just sort of let too much time slip away before we just put a line in the sand and said, okay, we're going to have to make some changes. We're going to have to adjust what we're doing.
You made some changes with your crew chief, Pat Trison, and your engineer, who's also one of your closest friends, Chad. Talk about how their roles switched up a little bit now and who's in charge of what for your race car every weekend.
It's not a big change. You know, Chad's my engineer, Pat's the crew chief. That's still the way it is. But we weren't able to get the cars where we needed to get them last year. You know, for a big part of the season, I was constantly complaining about the same issues, and we could never find the problems or never find the cures. And that was just part of that communication barrier where, you know, maybe Pat wasn't understanding exactly what I was saying, or maybe he didn't, you know, really know the answers, you know, because these cars are so complicated now with the bump stops and all the things in the front end that go on. It's so computer related, and it's not shocks and springs and track bar. It's not mechanical grip like it used to be. I'm feeling comfortable and I'm confident. All that stuff goes together, and you know, next thing you know, it's not hard to run in the top 5 or the top 10. So hopefully we just keep it going, and you know, so far it's been a good season.
Towards the end of the race, you're running top 5, but we also hear you on the radio complaining, you know, I need more. I need more from them. I need more horsepower. Is that a place where Toyotas are struggling right now as opposed to Fords or Chevys who are getting to victory lane?
You know, if we're not leading the race, we're always asking for something. You know, you can always be better. And right now, honestly, yes, we're down a little bit. Toyotas in general, I think. I think even the Gibbs guys are, and they, you know, so we're down a little bit. But you know, the guys at TRD who build our engines are working hard. It's a constant, ongoing process of, you know, using their technology to try to build better engines, and it's no different than, you know, the guys who have the best engines out there right now are working on theirs to get better too.
You have to remember, they've been racing Chevy and Ford engines in Cup for about 60 years. You know, it's been forever, and they've got a pretty good package there that they've defined and provides those teams with a lot of horsepower. Toyota's now this 4th season racing these cars, so there was a lot to learn. We had to catch up a great deal, and I think we have caught up, or we're catching up. We're just not quite there yet.
Well, we know Martin's got a bit of a losing streak right now, 134, but you know a thing or two about that. 0-462 before you got your first points race win. Any advice for a guy that's got to be feeling some pressure, putting it on himself, wondering if he can get to victory lane?
Well, I think it's important for him to see what Carl Edwards did last fall, breaking an 0-for-70 streak, and then Jeff Gordon breaking his streak this year, and the emotion and how thankful those guys were. You know, Martin's able to see that and understand that, okay, others have gone through this, and I'm in the middle of it. But when you win, I think you have this this thankfulness more than anything. You're just so grateful that it all worked out and you finally got back to victory lane.
This has been like the new thing in the media the last couple weeks. Has been like longest, you know, losing streaks, but it's like hell. It's better to have a you know, won before and had a bad losing streak than it's been to never have a winning streak, you know. I put more pressure on myself than anyone could ever put on me. I've always been that way. You know, if I didn't want to win, if I didn't think I could win, I would not be sitting here right now. 134, you know, is better than 234, and I'm confident I'll be back soon.
Well, I've been talking to some of the employees here, your coworkers. They said you're smiling more. You have that fire in your belly. It's your second year here. I'm not sure if you're just more comfortable or more confident, but you seem to be dealing with everything extremely well. Did you finally just find the right place for you?
And, you know, let's be honest, I haven't been in the greatest situation for the past couple of years. You know, 2007 was like everybody called, you know, my breakout season or whatever. It was a great year. But since then, I haven't had that stability. You know, it's always been, you know, we're changing shops, we're changing teams, this is going, that's going, you know. And, you know, last year was there was a lot of new things for me, you know. I had never worked with a crew chief other than Bono up until last year. So there was a lot of things I had to learn about myself and you know, really learn how to work inside the system here at MWR and you know, do things their way. And you know, all those things make you stronger, and I feel good about it.
Wow, candid comments. Thanks, Danielle. Coming up, Carl Edwards, head wrench. Bob Osborne is in the crew chief corner with Jeff Hammond. Hear what Bob had to say about